Hi, I'm Megan. I was the producer for the trailer. Amy's the camera operator and Phoebe was the director. And we decided to do a adaptation of the film Sweeney Todd, which was directed by Tim Burton. And we decided this because we enjoyed the horror from the film and we all felt like our creative styles would all collaboratively work really well together to produce the product. We wanted to focus on the horror of the film rather than the storyline, just to get that across in the concept trailer. And we really wanted to emphasise on the difference between the barbershop and the bakery, which is used within the film.
So for our influences, we've used Jekyll and Hyde. We used the ITV version that was based in 1930, but the original was based in London Victorian times. And we really wanted, like Megan said, the horror, the gore, the death. Like, we wanted to be able to put that into our trailer for the play. And then as well, like, there's a lot of similarities between them. Like, we wanted to get the light and the dark side. We wanted the fast cut, cut editing they had. And then because they're both normal people, but they both still have a dark side towards them as well.
Yeah, as Amy said, in our storyboards we wanted to get across that contrast of lightness and darkness. So we planned having a candle shot cutting to blood, for example, to contrast Sweeney Todd and his razor. We thought that was a key element in our thing because he kills people with the razor, obviously. And things like rolling the pastry to sort of sinister impacts, like hitting the dough. That's kind of it's still relevant, but it shows a sinister tone, which follows the narrative pretty neatly. We didn't really want to touch upon the background story too much, but we felt like it's important for the trailer to contain some sort of story to intrigue the audience. So we contained a lot of the characters, like Sweeney Todd's past with his family photo frame, and obviously the whole barbershop scenario, grasping hair. We wanted to introduce the meat sort of human remains with the hair, because we think that's quite awful to us. We want it to be uncomfortable, but at the same time shocking for an audience to watch and be like, wow, I want to see this, I want to see what happens on stage. So there's a lot of contrast between him normally snipping the hair to chopping the meat. We want that to be quite come across quite well in our trailer. And at the end we feel like having a jump scare of the knife coming down, and just before impact we're going to cut to come soon to really get across that this is a trailer and it will be suspenseful, and hopefully it will interest the audience into the play.
And then that's just a photographic storyboard, what we want it to look like, if it like in real life, just the same as the storyboard really. We were going to originally have it in black and white, but then we noticed that blood is a key element for it, so we changed it to colour so you could really see the blood.
We're going to show you our test shot now, and then at the end we'll say what we think worked well and what we think we can improve on for next time when we do the final thing.
Hang on. It's a bit of buffering. It's a bit slow. That was it, basically, trying to catch up with itself. But that was our test shot. So things we liked about it We liked the lighting with the candles and things, but it didn't work well with the shot of the shadow. It was a bit buffered, but it kind of lingered on that. You couldn't really get across really who it was, so we think for our real thing we're going to get LEDs from the college and borrow that, but we definitely really like the candlelight because it kind of gives space to our limited sort of area of working, like, so yeah.
Yeah, well, as well, we were limited on supplies, so that's where you saw like a lot of like the meat on the tray. So we only were limited on the shots that we had. So for a proper thing, we're going to get like more supplies, so we have a more range of shots. So because you couldn't really connect it with the barber and the baker because it's just a lot of the meat. So
yeah,
we'll keep that in
get
mind.
across that it's Sweeney Todd really. It
Yeah.
could just be a trailer for anything, so we definitely want to make it a lot more personal. Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
Then this is our colour palette, and like Phoebe said, we use a lot of like warm candle lighting because it gives this like blank background, like a black one. It gives the illusion that there's more space than there actually is. Like it could be on like a baker's surface, it could be anywhere. But then in some shots as well, we use like cold colours, like when he's like doing the shadow with the hair and stuff like that, because it's like gives this death kind of feeling. And as well, in one of our shots, we're going to have someone with some shaving cream on their neck. And then that white shaving cream gives it like that innocence colour as well.
Yeah, and assist people being murdered and stuff.
And we decided to have narration over the trailer just to emphasise the story more. And obviously, I've got 2 actors to come in to narrate it for us, and I feel like that will help bring the story more to life and make people want to come and see it more rather than just images. And these were some initial ideas for shots when we were planning. Obviously, as a producer, I had to do the production schedule and the risk assessment and the location recce, just to ensure that it was all feasible and nothing goes wrong when we're filming.
For equipment, we're using our bog standard JVC and Canon PowerShot to really get the HD colours and what we wanted in our colour scheme. Definitely focus more on the lighting. We already, like Megan said, pre-recorded with our actors in the studio. And for props and budget, we all unanimously decided that £20 was enough for a student film, maybe even a bit more, because we wanted to definitely get the razor, because that's a key murder weapon in Sweeney Todd, so we couldn't do a trailer without it. But things like the meat were being quite budget-wise on, like going to butchers and supermarkets, like asking for leftover remains of like sheep hearts or something like that. Something like human remains, which cost under £1 for a per item, so that should be fine.
Thank you for
Thank you
listening.
for listening. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, nice one. I thought that was really, really clear. Like, it's really, you really got your idea across well. I think there's some really interesting stuff in there. A few things that kind of, you got me thinking about. You mentioning Tim Burton and stuff. And have you had kind of like influence by his style? Because obviously he's got quite a...
We're taking more influence from the film, probably not his style, but we really enjoyed the film. We didn't want to use that as a sole influence, but we really were inspired by his ideas, really. But we're more focusing on the Jekyll and Hyde series as an influence.
Yeah. So one of the things that kind of jumped out to me a lot is like the idea of suspense, really, that you could build within that, and you've got some really nice imagery in there already, and you can think about like razors and things and how you can suggest horror as well as kind of like actually show full-blown kind of gore and violence and stuff. Sometimes it's got quite a big impact when you're just suggesting stuff. And with the test shots as well, I thought they look really nice. It's notoriously difficult to shoot with candlelight. There's just so little light to actually get a good exposure on it. One thing I was thinking that you could try is just bring in a little bit of air movement into the environment, because that will get the candle, the flame moving a bit, and give some nice response on the surfaces and stuff around. And also something there's a really, really clear, like sharp aesthetic is like a reflection in the metals and stuff. You know, that's working really nicely, and that you might be able to build some really nice visuals around that. You know, like bouncing the camera right back into the lens. You know,
Yeah.
maybe even obscuring the lens a bit with bits of plastic and stuff. That you can pick up those kind of like light. You know, you get the light dancing around. So those would be a few things that kind of like jumped out straight away. I don't know if Lyle.
Yep, it was great. It was there's a real kind of sense of tone established straight away, which is really good. I think what you're saying about colour palette was interesting. Like I picked something straight away from the storyboards, that kind of because they were black and white. Because you said initially going to go black and white,
Yeah.
but then you added the red in, and that felt very Tim Burton, which was that very high contrast, kind of blacks and whites and reds. So that was really nice. In terms of what you're taking, you talked about using a cooler colour palette as well as the warmer one. And I would run with that. I would take that further and think about the two locations that you're using and how those can be kind of visually shown, so that it doesn't become unclear. You're doing a lot closer, so it can be clear where you are and what's happening. So using colour in that way can place you in certain scene. So I would take that further. Again, I would say some of the things to Chris in that maybe think about how you can hold the kind of the gorier imagery back. I don't think you should show it, but maybe kind of hold it back to the end a bit more. Maybe obscure things with even closer shots. What it did make me think of is, have you ever seen a show called Dexter?
Yeah.
Okay, so the opening titles of Dexter kind of it reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah.
And what's great about those titles, which I think you could really use here, is that they're gory and they're dark, but they're kind of obscured in everyday things. It feels like, you know, it feels dark, but it's not. And you're seeing, you know, someone kind of do something we all do and present it in a pretty kind of violent way. And the other thing that it does is it's got a lot of kind of black humour, which I think maybe you can utilise here. Because with Sweeney Todd, as you said, it's like we know who Sweeney Todd is, and we know that story. So playing with the fact that the audience already knows that background and how to reveal that might be interesting. Great.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.